Hey there, it's Roslyn here. I hope you're doing well. Today I am doing some Copic coloring of these cute little quokkas from Cat Scrappiness. These little quokkas got onto a card that I did for Team Tiny Love Hop. I will link that in the description box below if you'd like to check out how I made that card. So I'm going to color up these cuties with my Copic markers. For the darkest color, I'm starting with E15. And I'm just rounding out her little belly there and leaving a little bit of white on the edges of her fur in case they catch like a little bit of a highlight. I added some of that darker color under her chin and just a tiny bit under her arms, which there'll be a cast shadow there, along the bottom of her tail and her feet. And then just marking out the edges of her face, her lower part of her face. A little bit on her ears there, and then we're going to come in with our next color, which is E13. So I'm going to color in the edges there that I left white, and you'll see later on that does dry back a bit lighter, so it does give that rounded look to her belly. I'm going to add that to the underside of her arms and a little bit on her shoulders, and then just take that color and blend out that E15 and round out her face on the top edge. And the artist here has given me a little tuft of fur right above her nose, so I'm going to add a little line of the E13 to there. And the next color I'm bringing in is E11, and I'm just going to go a little bit more in towards the center of the image, finish out the tail and the legs with that color, and very carefully go around her face, adding a little bit of color each time I bring in the next shade. Then I'm going to be bringing in here E21, which is a little bit lighter, and just going over all of those areas again. And then bringing in my lightest color, which is E00, filling in the rest of the body and her face, being mindful of her cute little eyes there. We have to be careful with the black and a very light Copic marker because it has a lot of alcohol in it that they could smudge. So I try to stay away from going over those so they won't smudge. So I filled in the face with that E00 and the ears. And now I'm just going to go back in with my E21 to help all of those blend together. And I really love how her belly is starting to look. These quokkas, which are from Australia, are marsupials, so they do have pouches in their bellies for their babies to be in. So it's really cute that they are super pudgy. I'm adding some R20 to her cheeks, and then taking R22, lining the top inside part of her ears, blending that out with the R20, and then coming in with that E00 again and blending that all over her ears and around the cheeks, just to make sure that everything is blended in nicely. And going over her belly again and adding a little bit of the E13 to the edges of her face there, just to get it how I like it. Now for the second quokka, I'm starting on her back end and her tail, adding a little bit of shadow, mapping it out how I want it, a little bit under that arm and in front of her foreleg, and just trying to define her shoulder a little bit more up there, under her chin a little bit, and alongside her back. So here I'm just mapping out where I want the darkest shades to be. I'll now come in with my E13 again and add a little bit to the edges of those dark areas, and also color out that slight highlight on the back of her fur there. I'm going to bring that around her leg and blend out some of the darker areas that I've made. I'm going to give her a little widow's peak sort of look with that E13, a little bit behind her nose there because it will be in a little bit of a shadow, a little bit on her ears, and then we can move on to our next color, which was the E11. And I really like how these colors work together. It's a very caramelly type shade, and I thought it was perfect for these quokkas. So lining her little arms there on the lower end, adding a little bit around where I've already put that darker shade, add a bit more to her face, and now I came in, instead of coming in with the E21 directly, I skipped over that and went straight to the E00, and now I'm going to come in with that E21. And I found that that worked out a little bit better for my blending. And so I'm just trying to accentuate her shape there and also blend in all those colors. So as I mentioned, these little quokkas end up on a love theme card over on a Team Tiny Hop. So I hope you are able to jump over there and see how I created the entire card for these cuties. So, and I'm just going to add a little bit to her. Oh, I'm going to go and define a little bit of those darker areas with the E15, and I'm going to continue to blend and blend and blend until I like how it looks. And just a note, like, you can wait for these Copics to dry and see what they end up looking like afterwards, because they can, as you can see on the first Quokka, they can look a bit different once they dry. But I'm super saturating my paper here so that they all blend nicely together. I'm going to give her a cheek there with the R20 and fill in her ears the same way with the R22 and the R20, and then an all over wash of the E00. For their noses, I used E59 and E27. Keep them nice and dark. And then I'm going to just accentuate my image with a white gel pen. I don't do this with every image that I color, but when the mood strikes, I do add them in a random pattern here. I'm just adding them where I think they look good on my image. And that'll be it for the coloring of these cute little quokkas. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.